We're live. We're live. We're live.
Good morning. How are you, folks?
Oh,
What are
well,
you calling for?
no reason. I was merely leaning back to see your handsome face. You shaved.
Yes, I did. I shaved this morning.
Is it all right if I take note?
Man, I have not shaved in like a year, and I had all this face hair.
No, that would not ever be authorized to happen. I promise you.
I promise you today's talk is going to be impactful. And our guest is going to be impactful too as well. We're talking about thoughts are things.
That's right. Thoughts are things, and we got an amazing guest, Mr. William Brown. We get to sing and serenade to him live today as he shares some wonderful thoughts that have become things and how we can all do the same thing in our daily life. We'll be right back after this message.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to you each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like.
Good morning again. Melissa Price is in the house. Good morning. How you doing, Melissa? When you are not here, I miss you.
Absolutely. We're excited that the audience is coming on in. We do have a topic today, and that's thoughts become things. You guys know
not become. Are. Thoughts are things. Yes, they are. And today you're gonna get it. You've heard these concepts before, but today you're gonna get these concepts. Maybe it'll be rhema for you today. Maybe it'll be new for you today. Maybe you'll receive it differently today. But these things matter.
They do. And we get ready to share some of those things with you today. What type of thought is a thing to you?
What type of thought is a thing?
Yeah, because that wasn't the way that I heard it, and that wasn't the way that I heard the quote. The quote I heard was thoughts become things. Now, I do agree that thoughts are things. I do agree, but I do believe that they are a thought first. And that means even if in a second,
Melissa
it takes
Price
for them to become
ties it
things.
Together for your peace. Melissa Price says thoughts are things with 3 exclamation points.
You should probably cut me off more often.
Nothing can be made or happen
because that'll be good for you
without a thought first. That's why perspective is everything.
Lisa. Absolutely. And that's why I do agree that thoughts are things, and they are very important things. But the way that I remember the quote is that thoughts become things. And I think it's really important that we remember to manage our thoughts so that we can manifest what we want in our life. Like right now, my thought is that I love my husband, and he makes me happy every day with all of his care and concern and consideration for my feelings.
Another thought you could choose to carry, Lisa, is he's not interrupting you for the sport of interrupting you. He's not trying to antagonize you. He's moving the thought forward, and as also he's attempting to piggyback on, which you move the goalposts on what piggybacking is constantly. Okay, it's up here, now it's back here, so it changes with you. It's a variable number. So what he's doing is the best he can to contribute to the conversation, because if he gives you too much room, you don't like that. If you don't give you enough room, you don't like that either. So you keep moving the goalposts and expecting him to know when and where is a challenge.
You could be right.
I am.
You could be right.
Anyway.
And let's see how good that is for you.
Anyway, thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. When you start studying, there's just any kind of Google search or YouTube search, just a thought that thoughts are things, you're going to get flooded with stuff. Going back to the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich, the chapter is titled Desire, but they say in that chapter thoughts are things like about 6 times. Okay, Mr. Barnes wanted to work with Edison. That was his desire, and thoughts are things. And he thought his way into employment he thought his way into business with Edison. Now the parallel, when he first got with Edison, he wasn't a business partner at first. He was an apprentice in his shop, But the whole time he was there to become a business partner with Edison. But he didn't get that right away. But he thought about it right away. He thought about it beforehand, thought about it all that time that he was working in the printer shop. So his thought did become a thing. However, the thoughts are thing concept is much more, I think, solid. It might be one way I put it. Good morning, Jacqueline. According to Jacqueline, I was listening this morning to Princess Mulford's classic book, Thoughts Are Things. And you know it's a classic book because all the other resources quote that book, okay? Because that book is awesome. And baby, it kind of checked me this morning.
Yeah.
Yep. He talked about the currents that run between people that have a similar thought, like they're agreeing on a thing. Okay. If you and I are agreeing that thing over there is a bad thing, we're agreeing on it. We're having currents about that. We're reinforcing that current that we think that thing is bad. Okay. Current, basically, if people are ingredients and agree, like business partners or husband and wife, they're in agreement on something and they have a current that runs between them that solidifies that thought between them, right? That thought. However, if you and I agree to stay in cheap hotels, we agree to not travel first class, we agree to doing those things, it creates a current behind us, and the people that are successful pick up on our currents and our currents repel them. Does that make sense?
Of course, it makes sense. It's not his original thought. It's a biblical thought.
It is a biblical thought. Yes, it is a biblical thought.
So you can ascribe it to the author of that book, or you can realize that God Himself realized.
Man, think in his heart He is.
And where two or more are gathered, He is truly in the midst. When you want power,
yep.
You connect with power. When you want to be moving forward, you connect with someone that is actively moving forward. Thank you, Melissa. When you want to have a pity party, for example,
yes.
You know who to call, right?
That's right?
You know who to call for that pity party. You know when you pick up the phone, am I going to call someone to uplift and encourage me, or am I going to call somebody who's going to commiserate with me? You know who they are, and sometimes you know what you really want. Sometimes what you really want is to stay right there in that funky place for a moment. Mm-hmm. You want someone to commiserate with you. You don't want someone to remind you to be the bigger person or to think of the positive side of things or to move forward. You want someone to dig you in deeper and to validate you.
Amen.
And that's why it's important to guard your thoughts. And the Word of God, once again, says to guard your ear gate, your eye gate. It's so important to make sure that you are protecting your sphere, because all of those portals are accelerants for your manifestation.
Amen. I have food in my mouth. I just realized, and you're right, Lisa, how people can become legendary and authorities by quoting principles of the Bible.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a good thing to quote the Bible. It's a good thing, but it's also a good thing to make sure that you ascribe the origin of the content from which it came.
You know, I had a situation yesterday, and he didn't mean anything by it. Maybe it was unwittingly. Okay, I did a workshop yesterday called "Know, Like, and Trust is Killing Your Business." You know, and it was a really good workshop. It was 1 hour long. It was really a conversation between me. I taught, but I also had conversation with people that was in the Zoom room. And there was this one guy there, very well-intentioned. He was in the room, and he got a lot out of it. He thought it was amazing. So, and he thought he was paying me a credit and a compliment. So he made a post on Facebook and LinkedIn and says, I attended this workshop by Brian K. McNeill today, and it was incredible. And I learned so much about how know, like, and trust is killing your business. And if you want to talk about it, call me. And he posted his phone number. So he took that one class with me, and he wanted other people to call him to talk about what he learned in my class. Okay. With one training now, really, he wanted to be the authority to help lead another conversation about that. So, and then he sends me a text saying, hey, Brian, man, I posted something about you, man. You might want to share it. I said, I saw what you posted, but I'm not going to be able to share that because you posted your phone number as if you're the authority. Okay. So you wanted people to call you, and I'm the sales coach. I'm the place where you got the information from. I'd want them to call me. He goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. I wasn't thinking." Okay. So he changed it and says, "Call Brian." He took off his phone number and said, "Call Brian if you want to know more about that." Because I am the original source of what he learned. And I've seen this happen to me in my career a bunch of times. I even had a good friend of ours, and she was well-intentioned too. She left my workshop. I did a workshop. She left my workshop, immediately went to her office, and tried to teach them what she learned in my workshop. And she called me back about an hour later and said, "Brian, I told them the same things you did, and it didn't work out good." I said, "Well, what did you tell them?" And I was like, "That's not what I said." She didn't have any depth. She didn't know enough to go immediately and teach what she had just learned. That's not what I said. No. And I was so upset for her to try to teach it and mess up my whole program. Anyway.
But it didn't mess it up. And sometimes what may seem like imperfect action is what smart people do to reinforce what they've learned. When I was in school, one of the things that the teachers would have us do was to teach your neighbor what you just learned. Mm-hmm. And so in teaching what you just learned, it helped to solidify. Now, the difference was the teacher was there to correct anything that you did not retain properly, to make sure that you were conveying the information properly. But I think it is definitely a winning principle to teach what you know, but make sure that you give credit to the source and that you teach it appropriately.
One of the 7 habits of highly effective people is they teach what they know right away. You're right.
And Melissa said, "I always call my mom and I tell her straight up, I need a pity party for like 5 minutes, then cheerlead me back up to my best. I know I need to get the yucky stuff out of me before I fill up with the good stuff. So I need both parts. And my friends and my family understand that because I'm open about it." Amen. Absolutely. That's one thing that I agree. And I agree that there should be a time limit on the pity party. But I think that it's really important to get it out. That you have to get it out, because if you don't, oftentimes you're masking it, and masking it can cause a feeling of inauthenticity.
Melissa also says, "I did that with my kids when I homeschooled, and also when I was teaching them to cook. Reteaching is an awesome way to retain information." We got 3 minutes to our special guest today.
Yes.
3 minutes. You're going to love our guest. Because we love them, and we share them with you.
And we're excited to take this journey with him to his next. I'm excited.
Carmelito Sims posted a video this morning about one of my favorite things. She had gospel music playing. She was in her car driving, had gospel music playing, and she was in the toll lane, the HOV lane, whatever lane it is that we use. Okay. We use it as much. I use it as much as possible because I'm the only one driving on it. But while she's driving on it,
the express lane,
yes. While she's driving on it, there's no traffic in front of her. But she's recording all the traffic to the right of her in the lanes that are not express lane. And they're bumper to bumper, moving along at a snail's pace, if at all. And she's flying through. And the song, I believe, is "Every Time I Turn Around, Blessings and Blessings," that kind of thing. That's how I feel every time I'm on it. I just wanted to share that.
Yes, he calls them, what do you call them? The peasants?
Oh, baby, don't you want to say that out loud? Yeah. I don't call them that.
No, okay? You don't call them. You call everybody who's not on the express lane.
The word is plebeians.
The plebeians.
Oh, the Lisa, plebeians. You don't have to say everything we talk about in our car.
I love it.
Golly. The plebeians are common folk.
The express lane is another way to set your mind to where you're going.
Set your mind where you're going. And also, it's a little bit elitist because you're paying a little bit for it. Okay.
Jacqueline said, "I often have others say to me, I was just thinking of calling you, and you called me. our spirits are more connected than we understand. It's sometimes called the law of divine oneness.
You know, Sister Jacqueline, I've studied some of that too. And there are so many people that believe that we can communicate psychically. We just don't know how.
Telepathically,
but we don't know how. But the people who think they can, like, they can make somebody else call them on purpose by thinking about them calling them. They're communicating with that person.
My mother can.
Your mother can make you call her?
Yeah, absolutely. One time she made me call her so vehemently that I actually felt her yank me through the wall and I hit my head on the wall. So I'm telling you, she can make me call her when she's saying you need to call your mother. 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 Boom. I was like, what? It was like 4:00 in the morning, which is her 9:00 because she goes to bed at 3:00.
Good morning, Miss Phyllis. How you doing? And Miss Jacqueline says, "Hour, not R. Still waking up. We understand. We got you. All right, it's that time. It's that time that from time to time, we bring in a special guest. Now, we have had some really smart guests before, and we have had some really, really special guests before, but not like this one. Oh, my gosh.
This is my contemplative friend.
Oh, my gosh.
When I want to dig into something and not have to rush through it and get to the point and want to just really marinate in it and see what the Lord is really saying about it.
Yeah, you need to call Bill for that. Yeah.
We're going to bring Bill up.
Nah, son. Nah. We got to do this right, okay? This gentleman is an author. He's a thought leader. He's a father. He's a businessman. He's a professional, and he's our friend. A lot of you guys have known him because he's been on this show a long time. His name is William Brown. He's our friend, Bill. Bring him up to the stage, baby.
Hey, Bill.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
We're fantastic. And you know how this goes. We welcome you here, but I want to get into it. First things first, I want to yield time for you to please introduce yourself however you would like.
So this is something that I want to say before I introduce myself, because I was watching the beginning of the show and there was becoming an R kind of debate happening, and both are right. We are and we're becoming aware of who we are, and so our thoughts are and they're becoming. I just wanted to clean that up so everybody's right. So, I am William Brown, and I am a father of 4 adult children and married for 31 years. I'm the grounded monk. I'll just say that my charge in life is to stay connected or be aware of the divine, and also be grounded in practical and be with everyone. And so that's why it's such a pleasure to be a part of this community, this family. And I'm just excited about sharing about thoughts, because I'm in my head most of the time. And so the fact that the things that are happening in my head connected to my heart are now showing up in my present. It is just an amazing thing. And Mama Lisa has helped me embrace that. And I'm just honored to be physically talking here instead of just in the comments.
And we love having you here, and thank you and welcome. Absolutely.
All right, good. So I want to give you that moment because I'm about to launch.
Okay.
Okay.
You go.
Yeah, I am. This is exciting for me. Okay. First off, we love you and we love the conversations that we've been having with you over the past couple of weeks, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And through the men's meeting, and through phone calls, through talks with Lisa. So you matter to us. But the concept of thoughts are things, we want to delve into that. And I would love to get your perspective on it. And I also want to kind of give you enough room to fully tell your story.
Got it.
Melissa Price has put in the comments, and you are so much more than that, William. Good morning, Dr. Deborah Dunson, and Sister Stephanie says, I am, and I am becoming a better me. But you are so much more than that. There is a topic that we've kind of teased out on here, a subject we've teased out on this show, but it's a real thing that's going on in your world right now.
Right.
And to whatever degree that you're comfortable, please tell the story as to what's going on.
Right. Within this community, we talk a lot about manifesting, and in some cases, my mind was just like, okay, I'm just going to say this is what I want, and it's just going to show up, right? That's it. That was my really, I guess, juvenile way of thinking of manifesting. And what I have learned through this process of manifesting this opportunity in upstate New York of managing a spiritual retreat center is that I had to be able to not be so attached to the outcome.
Ooh.
Say that this is, I want to manifest running a retreat center. In my mind, when I started that manifestation, it was, I got to own it. I got to do, I got to do all, I got to do everything. So I got to find. And so when things started appearing, I was like, okay, this is it. This is working. And then it stopped. And I realized that it was just a glimpse of what God wanted me to kind of embrace and to believe, because for me, there was my thought of running a retreat center and my belief in running a retreat center. There was a gap, and I didn't realize that there was a gap in that. And it started closing, and then this opportunity kind of appeared in front of me.
I want to back up a little bit if I can.
Okay.
You had the thought
right.
that you wanted to run a retreat center yourself, and you also had the thought that you wanted to own it and manage it and all of that.
Right.
And an opportunity did appear to you.
Right.
The 70 acres.
Right.
And
70
then
acres in North Carolina.
If you would tell that story about how that went, along with the rest of the story.
Right. Yeah. I look, it's our show. I get 30 minutes. So I just, I just wanted to kind of do it right. But so I was feeling that a retreat center was in my future. And then a friend of mine called me and said, hey, I just saw this property in North Carolina. And I just thought of you. And it's like, okay, right, so it's like, hey, come out and visit it and see. I walked the property. It felt like, my place, right? It's just like,
wow.
what's happening right now? And I could, as I was walking the grounds, I could see myself there and walking. And so now it's like, okay, how can I make this happen? What do I need to do to kind of live this? And so I started what I thought the process of looking at funding, looking at people around me. And just within 2 months, we were, I made an offer, on the
amazing place. Story.
Right.
The thought, the suggestion, the grounds, you walked the grounds.
Right.
And you looked at your resource, you looked at what you got to do first, second, and third. And within 2 months, you made an offer.
Right. And it was, it was one of, I don't know if it was fake it until you make it or just kind of believe it and receive it. I don't know what, put all those things in. And it's like, okay, this is the plan. I believe that this wasn't something that I was looking for. This will work out. That's what I was thinking, because I didn't want to let my doubt or my concern about where am I going to get, $750,000 from, right? Now, right? I'm trying to pay my rent, right? So it's like, it was that type of thing. And I was like, okay with this is going to work, or this may not work out in this time. This may not happen, right now. And then I just started within that. I started feeling that I needed to separate from how I was living.
Wow.
There was a mindset that I had, that I was currently living in, that it was like, survival mode, right? I was in survival mode of, paying my rent and just, getting clients and doing all that. And that mindset, that way of thinking, was interfering with manifesting everything that was like in front of me.
Boom.
And so from that realization, the Lord's, there was a day, and it's really crazy, that I was like cleaning up in the house. I was putting stuff back where, it needed to be, right? Because, if you talk to my wife, I'm always leaving stuff where it's not supposed to be, right? So I'm like I'm picking it up, and I heard within me, what are you doing? You don't even want this. Why are you kind of cleaning this stuff up? You're cleaning up a life that you don't even want. And in that moment, the only next thing was, well, we need to pack. And I was like, I got to wake up the wife, because I don't know if I'm going to be here when she wakes up, because the only activity that feels natural right now is to like pack. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew that I decided that I didn't want this anymore. And so we had my wife woke up, we had a conversation, and I will say, as a side note, is that the fear of me having that conversation about moving and kind of letting things go, of having with my wife, I had a fear of having that. That as soon as I had started that conversation, she was like ready to go. Okay, where are we going? So that my thought of, she's not going to like it, she wants all these things that was playing in my head was not reality. It was just something that I was making up. And she was just waiting for me to like ask, let's move into our next. And so that caused us to move cross country to Portland, Oregon, because she said, hey, while we're figuring this all out, while we're letting all of this go, I want to see my kids. I want to like connect with my kids. There were some things going on with our kids, and we just wanted to make sure that while the parents were figuring this thing out, the kids were good.
Okay.
And so we, with money in envelopes, right? And prayers of our friends, moved across country in 5 days. And there was this freeing, there was this holding this two spaces, right? Of I'm free, but oh my God, what the heck did I just do? This fear of, it's like, there's no stability here. There's no, it's like, but I know this was the next right move. But I still had in my mind that retreat center was coming after this. I had to make this move to get to that move, because my thinking of, I have to hold this down, I had to hold this down. I didn't have, in order for me, in my mind, I felt in my heart that I needed to let things go so I can receive. There were too many things that I was holding on to. Yeah.
Let's pause for a second, because there's so much meat on that bone. Let's catch, because give everybody a chance to regather themselves too, because I'm getting a lot of lessons out of this. Dr. Beverly uniquely taking over time and says, hello, great family. Hope all is well. Good morning to my friend Bill. I love each and every one of you. Just wanted you to know, if you didn't know, thank you for being great friends, and thank you for being my empowerment family. Latanya Blackman wanted to comment. She says, that's good. Not be so attached to the outcome. Melissa Price says, congratulations again on your new journey. I'm so proud of you, with emojis and stuff. Dr. Deborah Dunstan says, I'm so excited for you, William. You are made for this, with an exclamation point.
Absolutely. Good morning, Katura. Thank you for joining us. Melissa says, Dr. Deborah Dunstan, that resonated with me too. It's a new sticky note for my mirror and on my computer. The same thing is happening to you too. You're moving to your next.
Yes, you're moving to your next. Melissa also says, you are walking by blind faith. I like that one as well. Oh my gosh, you're moving to your next. Don't be so attached to the outcome.
Good morning, Kat Ivy. I'm glad to see you this morning. Blessings on your journey. What also resonated with me was letting go of the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things that I've shared many times is the how is none of your business anyway. And we try to figure out all the details of how it's going to manifest and how it's going to happen and how it's going to, and how. God is like, okay, you done?
That's right. When people try to help God out, help him out.
Yeah, I mean, and that was something, you know, being out here that I got for myself. The how, you know, the only time that how is important is after.
Yeah.
When someone asks, how'd you do that? Right. You know,
but that's awesome right there.
Right. It's like, how before you get started will stop you, right? Like, you know, in your tracks. And that's what it was doing for me, because it was like, I was so committed to having the steps and knowing that, we've, Lisa, you and I have talked about, you know, my faith journey, and that my faith was in my abilities, not in God, right?
Yeah.
It was, this is what I can do. This is what I got. This is, you know, so, okay, let's go. You know, we good. And that will only get you so far. But when you have faith in God, you be out there, right? You'll be, and so really in this place of, it wasn't even starting over, but it was just letting go. The process of creating the life that you want. It's like, that's a full-time job. And that is something that there's a lot of, I've learned that there's a lot of starts and stops, and there's a lot of what the hells. But it is really, what I have learned is just to stay open and stay aware that there is a retreat center on the other side of this. I don't know when, I don't know why, I don't know how, all those things, but that. And so while I, you know, when being out here, I took a job at FedEx, which is crazy when I think of it, because my kids were like, Dad, do you really want to do that? Right. You know, because there's concern. It's like, you know, it's like, let me see your hands. I don't think you need to be like carrying and doing all, you know, and, you know, it's like, you're smart, Dad, but I don't think you're like physical smart and be like, like, you know, I don't think this is a smart move right now. But what I got really, because I was feeling this, that I needed to like trust myself physically, if you know what that, if that resonates, because there were some things that I wasn't doing, and I didn't know if I had the strength to do things. You know, it's like I could think myself into like a lot of things, right? You know, and it's like, and I could pep myself up, but really, did I have the strength to really, you know, carry a bunk bed up 3 flights of stairs? You know, do what was necessary in that moment. That there's stories up.
Hold on, because I want to advance the story forward. I want to be respectful to our time as well.
Gotcha.
But I need to catch up. Sister Jacqueline says, I'm feeling you, William. What you are describing is how I got to Arizona. I had to activate the law of motion to get my present life. Miss Phyllis says, as they say, let go and let God. Sister Jacqueline Rosier came about all about the let go. My takeaway from your sharing today, thanks for reminding me. Wow. Sister Stephanie says, this is so valuable. Letting go of the how. When I surrender to God, then I can receive the best for me. Now, in this time, you had the vision of the retreat. You had the opportunity for the 70 acres. Then the moment I'm cleaning up something I don't even want.
Right.
You move across country, and you were there for over a year or about a year, right?
Well, no, it's 10 months, like a week ago.
Okay, so between the 70 and the 230. So now bring us to this story of the call, the tour, and the landing.
Right.
Okay.
As you know, a couple years ago, I started a little show called One Word Conversations. And so how I invited my guests is like, hey, this conversation that we have, sign up. I'll give you a word. Let's go. Well, one of those quote unquote random guests, her word was source. We had a great conversation about source. And she was like, yeah, let's stay connected. I was like, we're connected. We're good. I just moved on. She called me, in February and said, hey, this position of managing director is, available. Would you be interested? And I'm like, let's talk. I was like, I don't know, but, and it's in upstate New York. And my first thought was, upstate New York seems cold, which is true, right? I was like, oh, geez, I left the North and I'm not going to go back to the North. I'm just kind of doing that. And then the next thought was, are you going to let the weather keep you from creating the life that you say that you want and that I have for you? And I said, no. So we said, okay, let's have a conversation. So I called. We had the first interview, and I just showed up. I was like, I can't share totally my dream because I don't, because I'm forwarding somebody else's vision, So it's like, okay, this is why I believe that I could fit here, and this is what I have. Because at the time when I was looking at the 70, I wasn't connecting the dots of my journey, my work journey. I was just like, I saw this vision of a retreat center. So I was like, okay, I want to live there. But when this opportunity came up, it caused me to connect the dots of me working in AV, me doing the technology center, being in hospitality, me working with boards, all of those things that's a part of working at this organization, I've already done.
Even the moving the beds.
And even moving the beds, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, geez, this is a setup, right? I mean, it's like, and so looking at the potential of running not 70 acres, but 230 acres of an established, organization that, that I get housing and a salary, because
and a salary.
And I was planning when I was owning it. It's like, okay, I'm going to be living there, so I don't need to take a salary. And this is what I was thinking at 70, right? I don't need to take a salary because I'm like, it's all there. I'll just kind of make sure everything else. I just make sure the housing is good, and I'm fine. But God said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to give you a salary, a house, and you're going to run it, right? And it's going to be more than double of what you thought it was. And I'm just like excited about that. I realize, and I'm trying to get the language together, that there's a lot of my dreaming in the past or manifesting or whatever that I was helping God. I was like creating something. And the more that I just stopped that and just closed my eyes And it's like, what do I see? I started seeing what God had for me, and I was like, okay, let's do that.
All right, now
And that's how it was showing up.
we're going to have to wrap with you. And
Got it.
I don't know if you want that thought to be your last word, but I'm going to give you another,
Okay.
a minute or so.
Got it.
If you would kind of like bottle this or put a bow on this or leave us with the thought that you want us to pick up from your story. And thank you for your story.
Okay. I think what I want to leave everyone here, it's like where we began, that your thoughts are, and your thoughts are becoming real. And it's like really recognize what your thought life is all about, what you're dreaming about, what you see in your life, and then look at your beliefs, because there are some thoughts that come through my mind that it's like, oh, that's a nice thought, but I don't believe it. And it just goes as fast as it comes in. It fires in. But when you put some belief on it, that's when it starts to really showing up, and really see that the person that you are becoming who you need to become to basically live that is the reality that you have. And I hope that was clear, because it still is before 7 o'clock in the morning where I am. But
again, we appreciate it too.
But it is really recognizing that the William that have been thinking about running a retreat center was already there. And I'm just stepping into that now. And I think the reality when I step on the property, and move into the house and do all that, the emotions, of that reality, because I can tell you, when I left that place after the interview, it was tough. It was like leaving. It was like,
when does that happen? When do you move in?
I move in on the 12th of May. So I am
between now and then, we all have something else we can pray for. I knew you'll be a phenomenal guest. Everyone is regretting that you have to go already, but we do have to say goodbye right now.
Yeah, we gotta do the song.
Can you hang out in the green room?
A little bit, and then FedEx is calling.
Okay. If you cannot, we understand completely. All right.
I'll stay as long as I can. Right.
All right. Thank you. Was that not good?
Yes.
That was great. Now, Stephanie Morris says, yes, it is a show me your way, God, so I may walk with you. Show me your way, God. Kat Ivy says, thank you for sharing. Melissa Price says, I wish we had more time. This was an incredibly inspiring and motivating. I'm ready to move into my next and let go of the how. Thank you for the amazing perspectives today, Mr. William Brown.
Yes. Stephanie said, yes, we need a part 2 to this manifestation.
Okay, we can do that. Sister Jacqueline says, putting belief on the thought. Well said. Putting belief on the thought. Amazing. You've been shuffling those cards the whole time.
Well, one of the things that Bill said that also caught my attention was that sometimes thoughts come in and you don't grab them. They fleet, right? Thoughts come in and they're fleeting. Sometimes their fleeting is good because it wasn't a thought you needed to hold on to, but sometimes their thought fleeting is something that you needed to hold on to, but you let go of too quickly. And I am holding and caressing in my hands the new deck, this time the Manifest cards. Manifest your best and most authentic self. These cards are filled with thoughts, and I shared them this morning on Instagram on my morning motivation. They're filled with direction to simply fix your thought, right? So on the Manifest card, I always deal the cards, but you don't have to. You just pick a card, and this card says, I am complete.
And then you marinate on that thought. I apologize for rushing through Mr. William Brown today, because I did want him to get to the point of what happened because of these thoughts. If he's willing to, we will certainly invite him back for a part 2. It's 9:44 now. Man, look, goodness gracious, look how the time flies.
This one is I Am Purposed. And I actually chose 3 cards right now. But this is a thought that really required me to pull back on, especially since I had a bit of disconnection. So I needed to reiterate this thought. And that is, I am essential. Knowing that you are essential, that God chose you for a reason. I am essential. The cards are very simple. They have one thought on each card, and you can, that's not what I meant to do. You can focus on that thought and remind yourself of who God said you were and what God said you are. These cards are ready along with the bling mugs. The mugs are available for sale. I have a limited number already created, and I will be custom creating them. This is for the ladies, but I can do a different applique for the men if they want it. But these mugs are, this particular one is a praying woman with praying hands, but the hair is blinged out, and the cards, just something to give yourself the right headspace when you are in your moment with yourself. Prepare a cup of tea, get your cards out, have your journal on the side, and give yourself a moment to just focus on the fact that you are royalty. Trusting God with who you are and what you are. And they are now available. I actually updated the store. You can go to bit.ly/bling1 to get the cards, the mugs, and some other things that I am putting in the store that I have been working on. So I certainly hope that you do take some time out to peruse the store and to get your own cards. The amazing mindfulness cards are in restock in there. The guided journey within are in there. And I just certainly hope that you take the time to place your order and manifest your best, most authentic self.
Stephanie says, yes, I need those cards. Stephanie says, I'm complete. William Brown says, part 2 at the center.
Yes, Bill.
Stephanie says, I am purposed. I am essential. Melissa Price says, William Brown, we can get a glimpse of the new spot. That would be lovely. Beautiful from Dr. Deborah. They are beautiful. Stephanie Mars says, yes, I love a great mug that has a great message. Sister Jacqueline says, I am complete, purpose, and essential. I will in celebration all day. All right, it's now 9:47. We got to get out of here very soon.
We're going to race through it.
We're going to race through it. Okay, what we're racing through is our greeting songs and greeting logos. And we do this in honor of our consistent contributors and the people that have been rocking with the show for a long time. The show's been going on since 2016. Simple math would tell us this is 6 years now. Okay.
Melissa's up, honey.
Okay, Melissa's up first. She has a greeting song. And it goes, bam, 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 bam. Melissa's on. Now it's time for us to sing her song. Melissa's on. Good morning, Miss Melissa Price. Sister Jacqueline Rosier is here, and according to Jacqueline
Rosier, pretty little girl that I adore. You're the only one my heart beats for. I'm so glad that you are mine.
Good morning, Miss Jacqueline again. Miss Phyllis is here. Miss Phyllis is here. So clear the way. Miss Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. Good morning, Miss Phyllis.
Hey, Stephanie. Stephanie, life has new meaning to me.
There is beauty up above and things we never take notice of. You wake up and Stephanie, you're in love.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Good morning, morning, Miss Stephanie. Dr. Deborah Dunstan is also here.
Dr. Deborah, nonprofit strategist and funding coach.
Good morning. Dr. Beverly's here as well. Dr. Beverly is on the show. Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Sister Latanya Blackman is here as well.
Latanya Blackman, the champion of family.
Good morning, Miss Latanya Blackman. Thank you for being around and contributing as well. Keep scrolling. Miss Katura Green is here as well. Back to life. Back to Katura Green.
However do you want it? However
do you need it?
Do you need it?
Cat Ivy is here. And Cat Ivy, she does it better. She makes sangria. And she, what's the next part?
Sells insurance too.
Cat Ivy does it better than you.
But I think it was not insurance. I think it was that Jamaican rice, chicken rice.
Okay.
But I have to remember again. Kat, you got to remind me. Kat was not feeling well yesterday, and I'm glad that she's here and with us. Amen. We got Miss Phyllis. We got Stephanie. We got good morning.
Mark Greer is here as well. So wide you can't get around it.
So low, you
Come on.
can't get under it.
So high you can't get over it. Mark Greer is under a groove. He's getting down just for the funk of it.
That's right.
Mark Greer is under a groove. Nothing can stop us now.
Oh, we got to do Bill's song. We got to do Bill's song.
Let's go. He said he's got to leave. Let's go.
Good
morning to our friend Bill. Nobody thinks like him still.
We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. We love you. Have an amazing day today.
Wonderful. You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. And I think we got one last person. I think I saw author Lynette pop on. Author Lynette.
She is on here. Good morning. At this table we sit.
Making it legit.
Because when Lynette hits the show.
Hey, Shaki.
Mel Jones, Shaki. Okay, we did what did we do for Shaki yesterday? We had a jam.
You had a big old jam for her.
It's not coming to me right now. Remind me what we did for you yesterday, Shaki. Well, we don't have much time. If you can do it right away, we'll do it. What did I say was your song yesterday?
It was a rap song we put together, and it was good.
It's not coming to me right now.
I can't think of it either.
Okay. All right, but we're out of time.
We're going to get it back for you, Shaki. Thank you for joining us. Kat, I know it's not. Oh, she said Shaki's back.
Yes. Guess who back? Back again. Shaki's back. Tell a friend Shaki's back. Shaki's back. Shaki's back. All right.
There you go. That's right, Kat. She sells sangria and Rasta pasta too. What's Business Fiber Services? I didn't hear about that. We got to talk.
All right, it's 9:52.
It's 9:52. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here with us today, and we will see you later. Love you. God bless you, and don't forget to have sex.